my next guest knows this area extremely well, and he's been on with me before. Melvin Riley is from Wolverhampton, a 19-year-old born in the United Kingdom from migrant parents. In 2018, he joined the Youth Council in the city to help other youngsters in his local area. Not good enough, he went on to win the Wolverhampton Young Citizen of the Year in 2018 as well, for really important work, empowering young people to get involved in social action. And he then went into becoming a youth commissioner for the Police and Crime Commissioner for the West Midlands. And one of his key drivers was raising awareness about knife crime among those young people. But what did he then get up to next? Well, I'm delighted to say that he's back with me right now. Before we get to that, which involves the Commonwealth, I want your reflections as the man that I've just described on the Jubilee. Did you watch it? Were you engaged with it? Had it got much to do with you?
I'll be completely honest, not at all. I feel like...
OK, no, perfect. I like people who are totally honest. Why?
Why? I feel like what the monarchy represents doesn't represent people of my background. And even coming here today, how many people of colour do you see that are out here celebrating? It's that sort of message and that sort of history that something like this isn't for people like me, and I can accept that. And
is that because of your race as opposed to because of your age, or is it a mixture of both?
I think it's a mixture.
Because, I mean, let's have an argument, because I like a good argument as well.
Cool.
Because I would say that the effort had been made quite sharply by the Queen, by Prince Charles, and also William particularly, to engage with young people.
I don't think it's the issue about engage with young people. I feel like they are young people that the monarchy represents, but I think it's that historical context of what the Queen represents. It's 70 years on the throne, but what are them 70 years reflective for people of colour? And that's the question that I'm here today for.
But in terms of the lineup, for example, at the concert last night, and also I know, because David Starkey and I talked about it on Thursday, even the soldiers and sailors and airmen taking part in Trooping the Colour, there was a conscious effort to reflect the fact that many of them came from Commonwealth countries, many of them, like you, were UK citizens, born and bred here, but from a different ethnic background. That was a conscious effort made by the authorities.
I'm not saying that there was no effort made. I just feel like something like this just doesn't represent people like me. And even in today's society, what does the monarchy still mean? I feel like it's still that context of that colonial sort of mindset that we still have a monarchy.
Rather than calm continuity?
Calm continuity for what reason? What purpose is there for a monarchy in 2022?
Well, you have a head of state who isn't elected. You have a head of state who you don't have to have tussling political arguments over. They simply go from one to the next to the next. They don't have real power.
They don't have real power. They
symbolise national unity.
I don't think... How can... OK, the Queen's been on the Queen for 70 years. I feel like the Queen has a massive platform. It's 70 years on the throne. She could have used this platform to unite the country in terms of stuff like the Black Lives Matter, the cost of living crisis. There's so many issues that the Queen is silent on. I feel like, yes, she can't get involved with politics. That's completely understandable. Sure. But in terms of deep societal issues, she needs to be the voice of reason. OK, final point. I'll give you an example again, because I said we'll have lots more people turning up now, and they're having a great time here behind us. I'm involved in a brilliant charity called the Ebony Horse Club, and it is particularly for young kids from ethnic minority backgrounds who are interested in horses and ride little ponies around and stuff like that. And Camilla is the patron, and she persuaded the Queen to join her on a visit down there in the heart of Brixton, totally engaged with those kids, and those kids totally engaged with them. So are you saying we need a little bit more of that, or that it is beyond redemption? I don't think it is beyond redemption. I just don't think there is any relevance. But the work that she's done with that horse club, I think that's great, providing access to things that historically people of my culture don't really get involved in. I think that's great. But just a Queen visit, what does that really mean?
It meant the world to the kids, I can tell you. Honestly, hand on heart. That's not just me, middle-aged white man celebrating. You see it on their faces. It was brilliant. OK, final question is this, and I told you we'd talk about it at the end. Given everything that you've just said over the last 4 minutes, you're still embracing the Commonwealth Games. You're going to be an office holder. You're going to carry a... So I accuse you of a bit of hypocrisy this afternoon.
I can understand why you think that, and I think reflecting on it, what the Commonwealth Games is trying to represent this time is that sense of community, but I feel like there's more can be done. Look, in the last since 1930, when the Commonwealth Games existed in Hamilton, Canada, how many times have you seen it happen in a developing country? These games can reflect these countries if we decide to empower these countries by hosting the games in these developing countries. I think moving forward, that's something, the name doesn't help.
Yeah.
I feel like it does still have that colonial representation, but these games can be used as a platform to give developing countries a chance on the platform, not just them visiting, but being heavily involved with the games.
Yeah.
My involvement is purely on the basis that I can empower young people, and that's why I took on this role. But I can understand the hypocrisy, me being involved with the Commonwealth Games and sort of the Queen.
I celebrate genuinely your engagement with it, and I'm pleased for you, because I know it does matter to you. But final point we'll end on then, and it's quite a nice circular point. And that is that when Catherine and William went to the Caribbean, and also the Wessexes, and there's with a new government in Australia and talk of changes there as well, this is now a royal family that if there is talk of a country leaving the Commonwealth, forget the ones that have volunteered to join, because that's also they engage with it. They say, yeah, sure, they don't say, you can't possibly do that. These younger royals are all for the debate that you're having. So it's for you to engage with them as much as it is for them to engage with you.
Yeah, I feel like it's that conversation that still needs to be had. But I think it's empowering these countries and giving them the chance of independence. And sort of, I mean, so a lot can be done with the wealth that the royal family have to help these developing countries, rather than just having a tour. All that money can be really used to help them. Because if we're talking about it historically, the Queen was the start of the Royal British Company that started the transatlantic slave trade.
Sure.
And all these Commonwealth countries were sort of destroyed from that sort of process. So I feel like the Queen can use her power and influence to help shape these countries moving forward.
I always love having you on board, because we have tough questions and we have good answers. Folk at home may agree or disagree with you, and they're very free to let us know via GBViews at GBNews, and we'll read the best ones out. And if they're really nasty, I'll send them to you in the post as well. But for the time being, Melvin Riley, great to see you, and thank you for coming on for, I think, the third time.
Third time.
You keep in touch. I always love talking to you, Melvin. Thank you very much indeed.
Welcome to the GB News YouTube channel. You can watch us live 24 hours a day, catch up on your favourite shows, and join in the conversation in the comments below.
Don't forget to subscribe and you'll never miss any of our exclusive content.